Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of His Excellency, the Chief of General Staff and Vice Chairman of the Provisional Ruling Council, Lieutenant General Oladipo Dia.
One major aspect of the infrastructure is the headquarters building, which is being commissioned today. In 1992, a brief was prepared and sent to 5 reputable firms of architects who were invited to submit tech design, models, and estimated costs in line with the laid-down procedures of funding agencies. After the documents were submitted by the consultants in the mid-1993, and these received after open advertisements were evaluated and approved in November 1993. Mr. Kappa and Dabatu PLC won the contract and commenced construction work in February 1994 under the supervision of the consultants and the monitoring of the Lagos State Water Corporation staff. The headquarters is a 6-story building to house the entire corporate operations of the organization, including those that are presently and the clinic, outside fountains to add to the aesthetic of the area, an auditorium, a boardroom, a meeting room, and a nursery for children of our young mothers. With the completion of the headquarters building, the staff will be guaranteed a conducive environment to work. Headquarters building is the climax of the development, institutional development embarked upon by the corporation in the last 3 years. There has been restructuring, training, and upgrading, leading to change of culture from civil service bureaucracy and the expected improvement in the working environment. We know that increase the output and morale of the staff. This will in turn enhance the corporate image of the corporation.
At times like this, problem writing is nothing but we hope an effective and efficient team for us to go on and on and on. I know all of us would agree that under the current administration, not to leave any stone unturned, not to leave any project uncompleted. And so we're here today
to welcome Your Excellency to Lagos State, and most especially convey to you the gratitude of the 6 million Nigerians living in Lagos State at your consent to honor us with your presence despite very many competing functions of the state. It is indeed gratifying to welcome you, sir, to the commissioning of the Headquarters building of Lagos State Water Corporation, which, as a part of the Lagos Water Supply Expansion Program, will complement the efforts of the federal government at providing water for all by the turn of the century. I wish to publicly acknowledge the cooperation and supportive role of the World Bank and other multilateral funding agencies in the execution of these projects, particularly in view of the huge investment involved. The water supply project has been classified into 5 major components. This very first phase was recently stimulated with the commissioning last month of 3 major projects. And it is my pleasure to inform that we are already living with the effect of these commissionings as the pressure of water in our pipe has increased considerably. In order to ensure that these services are brought closer to the consumer, we have zoned the state into 20 zones. And by middle of next month, 9 area offices being constructed will also be completed. It is equally pleasing to inform that in the area of transmission and distribution, over 400 kilometers of secondary and tertiary mains have been laid and integrated into the network, leading to an improved performance for which the management and staff of the Water Corporation is hereby acknowledged and commended. It is worthy to mention that despite the already attained level of service brought by this development, only about 35% of water demand will be met. In this regard, a master plan has been drawn into phases for development. The first phase, which should be accomplished by the year 2000, is expected to go up $700 million. This amount is certainly very huge, but this is the reality of the situation in which we find ourselves. It is public knowledge that the state government is not in position to provide this amount of money. I must therefore plead with you, sir, for the federal government assistance, even as I invite the private sector to participate in the provision of potable water and the requisite infrastructure for the citizenry. Members of the Provisional Ruling Council, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me once more thank the Chief of General Staff for his readiness to assist us at all times and for his visit to Lagos State, and wish him and his entire entourage a very safe journey back to Headquarters after this memorable occasion. It is now my honor and privilege to respectfully invite Your Excellency to commission the Headquarters buildings of the Lagos State Water Corporation. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Likewise, give you an Omi-related name, something like Omisholasa. The Chief of General Staff, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we shall have a short...
gone. You don't tell me where we don't find water. But my problem now is that this madman. See how she wins water. Which one she won't put her pocket on her face? Open the tap, water the run just away. Anyway, I go do justice. She go meet her pocket for elder. Oh, me like you.
You did great.
For where?
I didn't tell them anything about what you want to say. You don't get to go to my pocket. I think you're the man.
Wonderful.
Come on, brother. Now, so Abi, government say not to use water well.
Yes, sir.
Hey, when you say you get the power, it's forget. So go to
You say government give all of us staff to use our well. But let me see that.
None of us get around, but the don't like you don't even get respected.
Give everybody water now. Never to use our well, Oga. Now this is Oga. They're gonna misuse our Oga. They're gonna misuse our food of that year.
Just like that.
Just like that, okay?
Who does me one now? Make the way get head.
So what are you doing?
The people that. Who the people that go on down? Yes. Who the people?
No. What is going on?
What is the problem? Okay, because I have the water to pay regularly for this water. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Man, yes, sir. Since when have you paid for water receipt? I don't know whether they pay for water. I don't know at all. Papu, since when have you paid last?
I don't know.
Sister, since when have you paid for this water last?
Since when I get for this farm, I never even get a pay for water.
Thank you very much. You see, let me tell you, if you don't know, I will tell you. You see, this water you see so. Government, water corporation, I will tell you how much they spend. They spend 700 million naira every year on chemicals. 150 million naira on NEPA. Thank you very much. You see, ignorance is a disease. You see, without power supply, they cannot make use of that chemical.
very much. May I have another round of applause for that? And we wouldn't have stopped you so fast.
The Commander Lagos Garrison Command and member of the Provisional Ruling Council, the military administrator of the state, members of the State Executive Council here present, senior military and police officers, both serving and retired, here present, Director Generals and members of federal and state parastatals here present, the General Manager, Lagos State Water Corporation, and her husband, Chairmen of local government councils here present, Your Excellencies, members of the diplomatic corps here present, officials of the World Bank here present, my lords, spiritual and temporal, Your Royal Highnesses, Obas and Chiefs, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be here today to commission this headquarters building of the Lagos State Water Corporation at Ijora for two reasons. First, this building is a demonstration of this administration's radical departure from the era of unduly prolonged and oftentimes abandoned projects. Secondly, it is a proof of the existing cooperation between the three tiers of government, the federal, the state, and local, in a common desire to provide potable drinking water for all, if properly utilized. I have no doubt that this administrative headquarters will facilitate planning, greater efficiency, and effective discharge of the corporation's strategic functions. The federal government of Nigeria places a premium on the provision of water for all. This is personified in the creation of the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Rural Development, which is charged with the general responsibility for water resources management throughout the entire federation. Apart from its direct involvement in the river basin authorities, the ministry articulates the national policy on water resource management and regulates the state water agencies under the National Water Rehabilitation Project. To complement the efforts of the federal government, the state governments are charged with the responsibility of developing urban and semi-urban water supply. Meanwhile, the federal government will continue with several interventions and support aimed at assisting the states to perform their role. This explains our readiness to act as guarantor to the states with respect to all foreign loans so far secured for projects on water supply. However, because of the heavy infrastructural requirements and the capital-intensive nature of this service public, it is becoming increasingly clear that federal and state governments will require support and assistance from other sources. I therefore wish to invite the organized private sector to participate in the investment options that are available. The federal government will always strive to provide a stable and enabling environment which will infuse confidence to potential investors, and it is our hope that ethics establishing water supply agencies at the state level will contain necessary long-term provision for full commercialization. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to be associated with the great strides so far made by the Lagos State government through its water corporation to make potable water available to its entire citizenry. I congratulate you on this and urge you not to relent your efforts until the set of the